Well, good morning everybody, it's Gav here, Sarah's hubby. I ended up having to stay here at Officer yesterday. Officer is a suburb down in the sort of the very south eastern corner of the greater Melbourne area. It's only about 5 k's from Pakenham. So I had to stay here last night because the company couldn't get me a load back. Hopefully today that will happen, otherwise I'll be stuck here till sometime Monday morning. So I'm really hopeful that they get me a load, which means I could be back home by Sunday if they get me one today, or hopefully sometime Sunday, unless they're going to send me to far north Queensland, in which case it'll be a few days. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so this morning it was blowing an absolute gale down here last night. The truck was rocking around, you know. So it was quite breezy, and you know, it wasn't too bad cold wise. You know, it's remarkable down here in Victoria. Some days, like, you know, even in the middle of summer, it can get freezing at times, and then it can be roasting high temperatures. Like the ongoing joke around Australia anyway, is that, yeah, Melbourne, you can have four to a dozen seasons in a day. So but last night it was blowing an absolute gale. You could have blown the skin off a custard. It was just so breezy. The whole truck was rocking around. A bit disconcerting when it first hit last night, the really heavy winds. I thought the truck was going to roll over. It would rock that badly. Not that it could, like, the whole truck is 30 tons, but it was quite breezy. So yeah, remarkable. But the area of Officer here, where I am, it's actually quite nice. I'll do a little bit. Okay, so that's out the side there. I've got a little bit of a lake at the back. I don't know, what it's actually used for, but it doesn't really matter. And you scan around, and there's like a paddock with some cattle in it. And then of course over to my right here is another garden bed, and then behind me is the actual service station itself. So it's actually quite a nice area, and they've got facilities here, showers, toilets. There's a couple of fast food places, KFC, I think there's a McDonald's in there, plus a couple of other coffee shops that are independently named. As far as I'm aware, because I'm not from these parts, I don't know if there's other examples of those stores in any other place. But yeah, it's really, really good. Plus they have other bits and pieces within the store, like any servo does these days. Other stock that you can purchase, like you got all your chips, drinks, all that sort of good stuff, but you've also got coolant, oils, all that sort of good stuff that you might need for your car if you need it. I'd hate to be trying to buy a bottle of oil for the truck if I had to put oil in the truck, because there's a lot of that. So, all these things happen. Anyway, these are the things that go through your mind when you're stuck in a place for 20 odd hours. You start to go a little bit strange. Anyway, this morning I'm gonna get on with this. I'm gonna have a hot chocolate because it's cool. It's not cold. It's about 13 degrees in the breeze, so it's not what you call cold. It's just the wind is just uncomfortable to stand in for any great length of time. There's a bloke going out with his truck and dog. It's a tipper. It's a tipper with a tipper trailer. So yeah, I'll have to go do some work. They're doing a lot of road works and building or upgrades of roads down here, which is good to see. It'll help people ultimately, but we all just have to put up with the oh gee, that's hot. Ooh, that's lovely. There's a fair bit of steam coming off that. Oh, sorry, my trusty mug. Yeah. So yeah, there's a fair bit of steam coming off that at the moment. So yeah, it's lovely and warm. So the other night when I was coming down through the Goulburn Valley Highway, I had to divert because of a fatal accident. So that was it was a bit of a traumatic thing. So I wasn't involved, thankfully. That's, you know, but yeah, it's never a nice thing, never a good thing to hear about. And I feel so sorry for not only the family members of the person who was unfortunately fatally injured. I feel sorry for the people in the emergency services who had to go there and be there, because those sites are not very pleasant. And I feel so sorry for the, you know, like the ambos can try their hardest sometimes to try to save somebody. It's just impossible. So, and then of course the police who have to go there, secure the scene, do the accident report, go into the finer details of everything. Fire officers who have to go there and, you know, cut up vehicles to extract the you know, the parties. It must be hard on all of those guys as well, because even though they're chopping something up to get somebody out, they still have to see what they see, and it's horrific. So you know, just keep in mind sometimes if you're you come across a scene where the roads might be closed off due to something like this. These people aren't doing it because they love to inconvenience you. They're doing it because, well, they have to sometimes close a scene to take photographs of it. They need to get as much evidence to try to determine what happened, which ultimately, all going well, the information goes into a system, and that's where road upgrades are made, which can involve years sometimes of inconvenience in relation to traffic management, whilst they're upgrading roads and fixing things, which a few years later we're all taking advantage of. So from tragedy sometimes is born good things, but it still doesn't take away from the poor person who paid the ultimate price, their families, or the emergency services people that had to witness it. So or at least witness the aftermath. So please, when you're out there, just, you know, keep in mind that not everything is just everybody trying to inconvenience you and cause you trauma, and speeding to get around it because you're running a bit late. You know, look, if you say, oh look, yeah, had to get diverted due to a fatal traffic accident, most people out there go, oh look, yeah, no worries, you know. They're not going to castigate you for being late under those circumstances. Everybody knows what it's like. So, and any boss or any person who would castigate you over something like that is not much of a human being, really. So I pay no mind to what they would say anyway. So all that said, you know, my apologies to any of the family and any of the police, ambos or firers who may have had to have been involved in that. Poor guys, and girls, obviously. Anyway, on a less somber note, ooh, the chocolate. It's delicious. So the facilities here are actually really good. There's a lot of caravanners and trucks turn up here. Trucks of all different sizes, because like I said, there's roadworks around, so there's a lot of truck and dogs at the moment. That's the tipper trucks and the their dog trailers. There's a lot of them hanging around here. Not many of them stay here the night, obviously. And then you've got a lot of the you know, the semis and B-doubles coming in here who may have to stay for longer periods because of logbooks and, you know, your timings in your logbooks, etc. So it's quite a popular spot. There's one thing about Victoria that I've noticed is along the highway they do have quite a few service stations that are larger for heavy vehicles to park, particularly on this side of town, around the M1, M80, up through to the M31 to leave Victoria. There is quite a few locations, so that's a really good thing. Not every state has that they can be a little bit more sparse. In those cases, you do have a lot more rest stops with some facilities, but there's something about having the servo where you can actually buy a feed as well. That is good. Granted, I don't buy food when I'm on the road or drinks. I'm self-sufficient in that regard. My wife Sarah, she makes sure that I'm well catered for. I can bring along about 8 days supply of food, and I have enough drinks like that, Maxi, the Pepsi Max, water, and a couple of energy drinks just to sort of keep me buzzed whilst I'm driving along, you know, and singing to my tunes. So yeah, but if you do need those facilities, you know, and it's really good to have a shower as often as you can. I do actually also, because I quite often am driving the inland roads where there's practically nothing like that. You have your bird bath. Those who have been camping for any extended periods of time know what that's all about. And also baby wipes. They're really good, just to sort of, you know, do an armpits and crutch type situation, just to sort of keep yourself you know, hygienic, you know, so you don't get problems. It's been quite an interesting conversation this morning, hasn't it? Anyway, so if you're going to be a long range driver, so line haul is what it's called here in Australia. I don't know what you guys call it in other various parts of the world, but here in Australia, if you don't like camping, you won't like this job, because sometimes, even though I've got a sleeper cab, you're pretty much camping. And anyway, oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so good. Yum. So even though it's just after 7 now, I'll be standing by. I've got to cook some brekkie up, and hopefully I'll be loaded up by midday somewhere, and being able to get home to Sarah and the boys hopefully by Sunday, have Monday off, and then shoot off again probably. At any rate, that's the way it goes. So you guys all take care out there, stay safe. Like I've said many times, no trip is worth dying for. Your family will miss you, and it's a permanent issue. So by all means, please take your time, stay safe, take care out there. The roads in some places are horrifically rough, and they can cause a failure in your car, and yeah, then you're a test pilot. So just take it easy out there, drive to the conditions, and get yourself home safe to your family and those who love you. Take care, guys. You just take care. Bye for now.